l'autogol e annulli gol già fatti tu, al cui volere ogni polpaccio si inchina, oh tu, diva in palla.
If ever one event stirs such emotions to the extreme, it's the Milan derby between AC Milan and Internazionale. These two Italian giants have been rivals for almost a century, and in their pursuit of victory have always attracted the greatest players in the world and the most colourful support. Money has traditionally bought the best, with both teams having won everything there is to win. But nothing is more satisfying than a win over the old enemy. Italian football has an intensity second to none. In a city of achievers, where honours have been historically shared over the years, the result and rewards of the derby have invariably been driven by pride, talent, and often the league championship. But where the joy of winning is the ultimate prize.
Pasolini aveva detto che il calcio è uno degli ultimi riti rimasti nel mondo moderno.
Credo veramente che Milano sia divisa a metà e abbia il suo cuore rossonero e abbia il suo cuore nerazzurro.
La tradizione che ha il derby dei milanesi non ha eguali nel mondo.
Io posso dire che, essendo anche tifoso, quindi lo sento personalmente.
Tutta la settimana che precedeva il derby si parlava soltanto di questo. La gente ti fermava per la strada, c'erano le scommesse fra i tifosi. Dopo la partita i tifosi della squadra che vinceva facevano il funerale.
C'è solo l'Inter.
No, c'è solo il Milan.
The roots of the rivalry are deeply entrenched, where medieval battles were fought to maintain feudal honor, grand designs of expansion, or to settle religious conflict. Many of these battles were fought by foreign mercenaries, hired by local principalities with the largest purse. It was not uncommon for these armies to transfer support in midstream, purely for financial reasons. Milan was a highly coveted prize, continually at war with somebody due to its wealth, location, and lofty ambitions. Under the infamous Visconti family, it became a feared enemy, but also a target for others eager to challenge its strength of character. The only thing that has changed today is the battlefield, now played out with similar ferocity on the playing field.
L'Italia ha sempre avuto questa tradizione di non essere una nazione nel suo complesso, ma tante piccole nazioni che si univano ma restavano anche molto separate.
Battaglia di campanile, un comune contro l'altro, si risale addirittura al Medioevo e alle tradizioni di rivalità tra paese e paese.
Il calcio è lo strumento adatto probabilmente per sviluppare questo campanilismo, dove ogni paese, ogni città che confina riesce a dividersi sullo sport.
Preparation for the battles ahead were as mentally intimidating as they were physical. Whilst the troops spurred their front line on, luck would favour those who took full advantage of their opportunities. It was not a time for the faint-hearted. Nothing short of total commitment was demanded. Tempers were quickly triggered. The reaction deadly. Uncertainty had no place in such a threatening atmosphere, where the slightest error could be disastrous and the penalty fatal. Indecision could lead to confusion, creating bloody confrontation. And injuries could affect morale, forcing a desperate change of tactics to stave off defeat. Firepower was a weapon used with devastating effect. Whilst the centuries passed, the conflicts still continued. Now the quest for an independent unified Italy was the goal. For Milan, it would mean the removal of 300 years of foreign domination. No quarter was given, as the intensity of the war escalated with mounting casualties. Survival was the key, no matter how grave the position. But the power of the flag and the strength of the team's shirt meant everything, turning imminent defeat into unexpected victory. The celebration of victory was as symbolic on the playing field as it was with the new power brokers in the aftermath of a liberated Italy. The early derby games were played at the old Roman-styled arena stadium, which still stands to this day. Because of the acknowledged social divisions between the two clubs, where Milan were viewed as left-wing working class and Inter the more privileged right-wing, the rivalry was always stronger and guaranteed a large football-crazy Milanese crowd. Through the overtures of the Milan president, Piero Pirelli, the original San Siro Stadium was built in 1926. It inspired a 9-goal thriller won by Inter. Upgrading continued over the next 60 years, culminating in major renovations for the 1990 World Cup. The end result is a triumph for Italian architecture.
È come la Scala, è come il Duomo, è uno dei simboli di questa città.
La seconda casa.
Ci sono due tipi di calciatori, i calciatori eccezionali e i calciatori normali. E quando sono negli spogliatoi o nel sottopassaggio hanno paura tutti e due, sia il fenomeno e sia il calciatore normale. La differenza arriva quando entrano in campo. Il fenomeno è come se fosse a casa sua in poltrona davanti alla televisione. Il calciatore normale comincia a aver paura e la paura che hanno i calciatori normali a San Siro di sbagliare è incredibile.
This futuristic theatre in the round is a colossus in both scale and design. Viewed by many as a modern-day cathedral, it's now as much a tourist attraction as a homage for football fans. And of course, it is the shrine for both Milan and Inter. Because it was structured exclusively for football, it creates a unique link between fan and player, in which every facility has been catered for to create a stadium atmosphere second to none. There is seating throughout, with a capacity for 85,000, where everybody gets an unimpeded view of the game. Historically, Milan has always been seen as a leader, and today is no exception. Whilst all roads may lead to Rome, it is Milan that is the economic and fashion center of Italy.
La notte si serena, ma mi senti male. Te scrivi cara mamma, su studio sta qui. El me mira y me llama, dice a ti. Oh mamma mia, mi sono lontano.
Home to Leonardo da Vinci and many other great figureheads, yesterday and today merge in a city renowned for setting the standards for others to follow.
Turna domani, del giri curaria, col cœur in di mar, vede la Madonnina, senti il bel dialetto.
And where the performance of the leader dictates almost everything else around it. Every derby has its moments, but there are a number that remain special for different reasons. Inter's dramatic 6-5 victory in 1949, after coming back from 4-1 down, is probably the most remarkable, knowing that goals are traditionally more scarce than diamonds in Italy. The most controversial, though, was through the actions of Inter's most notorious court jester, Benito Lorenzi, in 1957.
Bellissimo.
Io stavo succiando questo limone perché non c'era acqua.
Milan were awarded a penalty and Lorenzi took full advantage of the situation.
Lui finse di andare a mettere a posto il pallone del giocatore del Milan e prese il limone e lo mise sotto il pallone.
Lorenzi's actions were seen by everyone but the referee and the Milan players. Milan fans tried desperately to attract their attention.
I tifosi del Milan, a quella porta lì, i tifosi del Milan, sono venuti su, volevano entrare in campo.
Milan fans were infuriated, screaming poison, poison at Lorenzi, but still the referee didn't respond. Inter fans were overjoyed at the miss, whilst the cries of poison echoed from the Milan terraces. Lorenzi's nickname became infamous from then on.
Lorenzi si mise a ridere, il giocatore del Milan capì che era stato fregato, andò da Lorenzi a lamentarsi, ma ormai il pallone era uscito, il Milan non aveva vinto.
Mi sono arrivate almeno dai tifosi milanisti 5.000 lettere, mi volevano ammazzare. Poi tutto passa, si sa, il gioco del calcio è bello per questo, no? Non ci sono le vendette, questo è il bello.
Patience, though, is a virtue, and after 50 years, Milan got their chance for revenge. Caretaker managers Maldini and Tassotti were eager to make an impression, and it didn't take long for the players to deliver. 2 goals in quick succession by newcomer Comandini put Milan in the boxing. After a mixed season, Milan were about to give their fans something to shout about and believe, at long last, that what goes around comes around. The legacy of Lorenzi's conniving was about to be repaid. Everything Milan touched turned to gold, with Russian ace Shevchenko having a field day. Brazilian star Serginho wrapped up the event with a 6th record-breaking goal. It was the biggest victory in any Milan League derby. For Inter president Massimo Moratti and his coach Tardelli, it would be a day to forget. Of all the great players, one local stands out, Giuseppe Peppino Meazza. An Inter legend, he played in 40 derbies over 20 years. As a tribute, the San Siro was named after him in 1980. And in 1934 and 38, he captained Italy to successive World Cup victories.
Questo grandissimo campione, noi pendevamo tutti dalle sue labbra quando parlava, perché Meazza era il dio del calcio. Ci disse: vedete ragazzi, per me oggi è un giorno importante perché noi giochiamo contro il Milan. E noi ancora sì, però non è che... perché io purtroppo ho una macchia nella mia carriera. E noi tutti che stavamo a guardare, ma cos'è questa cosa? Ho giocato un anno nel Milan. Io sono sempre stato dell'Inter, l'ultimo anno della mia carriera l'ho giocato nel Milan, e allora ogni volta che c'è il derby, anche se è un derby di ragazzini, io voglio che vinciamo perché mi sembra di cancellare un po' questa macchia.
Other stars were Milan's imposing Swede Gunnar Nordahl, champion goalscorer for 5 seasons in the early 50s. Juan Pepe Schiaffino, Milan's Uruguayan star, famous for destroying Brazil in the 1950 World Cup. Valentin Angelillo, Inter's Argentine magician, whose graceful acrobatic skills in the 50s caused havoc in defences wherever he played. And José Alafini, Milan's elusive Brazilian, who had an instinctive knack of scoring goals on the most important occasions. But if one era symbolizes the rivalry of the two clubs and the nation, it was the emergence of Milan's golden boy, Gianni Rivera, and Inter's great striker, Sandro Mazzola, in the early 1960s. Both players had precocious talent, breaking into their senior teams by the time they were 17. Who was the better or more effective became a regular talking point, as they guided their clubs to the highest honours and competed for the same number 10 in the national team. They were both highly competitive, as one tried hard to outdo the other, with the media constantly trying to drive a wedge between them. Despite the controversy, they remained loyal one-club players, and between them played over 80 Milan derbies and 130 times for Italy.
La rivalità fra lui e me era normale che fosse, perché lui era capitano dell'Inter e io ero capitano del Milan.
Rivera era un po' più tecnico, era più per fare i passaggi, Mazzola invece era più aggressivo, più veloce, più forte fisicamente, e faceva più gol.
Ed è stato per la città una cosa bellissima, c'erano 2 italiani contro, dunque con 2 maglie diverse e soprattutto in una città in cui le squadre erano decisamente forti.
Rivera's good looks often belied his talent, as his achievements were impressive. European Player of the Year, along with league, European and world club titles, made him a hero everywhere. Mazzola was equally adored by fans and football aficionados, winning a raft of honours himself. On the field, both players left normally reliable defences in turmoil as they split them apart and scored goals at will. Both took great delight in taunting the opposition and made scoring look easy. Although their individual skills were exceptional, they were also great team players, taking full advantage of those around them. Unfortunately, both played in the same position, with the national team the ultimate loser through its inability to find a way to blend them together in the same team. The short-sighted option was to only use them in different halves. They would remain rivals for the best part of 2 decades. The pinnacle for both players was their influence in winning the highest honours for their clubs through the 1960s. Wembley 1963 was the first of Milan's European Cup victories, with Altafide's Santos denied them the World Club Championship. Milan's glory would crisscross with that of Inter, who next took over as champions, largely due to the magic of Mazzola. The sweet taste of victory would continue during a decade of dominance by the Milan clubs. The most endearing tale, though, is the sibling rivalry between the Baresi brothers.
Noi siamo sempre andati d'accordo, non c'è mai stata rivalità. C'era sicuramente questa passione per il calcio, uno giocava nell'Inter, uno nel Milan, e quindi c'era, in quei 90 minuti eravamo avversari, ma c'era grande rispetto e grande stima.
Si sentivano in continuazione, però la settimana del derby, ognuno a casa sua, telefono staccato, non ci si parla. Per una settimana almeno diventavano nemici. Appena finita la partita tornavano.
Giuseppe and Franco Baresi were literally brought up by the clubs. Tragically, the boys' parents died early, and the clubs became almost surrogate parents. Whilst Giuseppe made his mark with Inter, early rejection saw Franco move to Milan, where he remained for the rest of his playing career. Franco became a national icon, with his inspirational captaincy of both Italy and Milan during its second golden era. His marauding runs upfield often led to unexpected goals, and he was never short in coming forward on a matter of principle. The Baresi spirit was infectious, as it ran through the club, and the subsequent awards soon followed. As they did for Giuseppe, who would also play alongside Franco in the national team. Franco's farewell to his beloved Milan was a tearful occasion, but once again stressed the importance of the man to the club and the fans.
Franco Baresi!
For his contribution on and off the field, Franco was named Milan's Player of the Century, a fitting accolade to a man who was a vital part of the club's return to glory. Whilst Franco now wears the title of club vice president, his most important role today is to guide Milan's future for tomorrow. He is only too aware, from his own humble beginnings, how nurturing homegrown talent will sow the seeds towards hopefully discovering another Rivera, Maldini or Baresi. At Milan's youth centre, it's his job to instill not only football skills, but strength of character also.
Farli crescere non solo calcisticamente ma anche umanamente, fargli fare sport, che questa sia la cosa importante.
With Milan's tradition for buying the best, it's a hard road for these youngsters, knowing they must not only compete with each other, but with an open checkbook that can attract any player it wants worldwide. The challenge, though, is one Baresi sees more as an incentive, where true talent will prevail in the end. Club loyalty and tradition are also symbolized in the Maldini family, between San Paolo and Father Cesare.
Dagli anni 60, 54-55 fino a questo momento la famiglia Maldini è sempre stata protagonista.
Quando sono arrivati 10 anni lui mi ha chiesto se volevo andare o Milan o Inter, io naturalmente, anche senza volere un po' di influenza ce l'avevo, allora ho scelto Milan.
With Paolo following in the footsteps of his father as club and national captain, and his father still playing a strong administrative role, the Maldini influence is set to continue for some time, especially with a junior Maldini in the wings. The strength of both clubs lies as much in its support as with its talent. The Nerazzurri have always had an array of stars who've symbolized the club's success and the passion that runs throughout the club. Internazionale has traditionally had a strong, regal, conservative image, with its power base set amongst the ranks of the more affluent social classes. It has a rich history of success, with 2 world titles, 2 European Cups, and 13 league titles. The golden era under oil magnate president Angelo Moratti and Argentine coach Helenio Herrera is still seen as its most accomplished, a feat existing president and son, Massimo Moratti, would love to emulate.
La famiglia Moratti è l'Inter.
The Inter Serpent is a legacy of the old Visconti family crest, formed in 1908 as a breakaway group from Milan by Swiss nationals. Its aim was to establish a team that would embrace all nationalities. However, in 1928, Mussolini's ruling fascisti enforced a name change to Ambrosiana Inter, after the city's patron saint, Ambrogio. Mussolini's persuasive ideology divided the nation as war raged through Europe and Il Duce forged links with Hitler. Football and the derby continued despite the war, with Inter's idol Peppino Meazza, a willing symbol of fascist solidarity, making the rivalry even more intense. The post-war years featured the skills of the dazzling Swede, Skoglund, and local favourite Benito Lorenzi, who, when he wasn't playing to the crowd, was a lethal striker in his own right. But it was the 1960s dream team, fueled by the money of Angelo Moratti and the technique of coach Herrera, that created the greatest attention.
L'Inter è una squadra che ha avuto il suo boom di tifosi, è diventata molto importante quando ha vinto negli anni 60 quella Inter quella di Mazzola, quella di Corso, quella di Suarez.
Sapevamo tutti quello che volevamo e facevamo tutto quello che c'era da fare dentro e fuori dal terreno di gioco per vincere le partite.
Tutte le grandi tradizioni creano dei doveri e creano degli obblighi. E l'Inter ha una grandissima tradizione dietro le spalle.
Sandro Mazzola was destined to be a star through tragedy. His father's death in the great Torino team air crash of 1949 prompted a wave of national sympathy, but it sparked the motivation in the son, who soon built his own reputation. In his first derby, Mazzola scored the quickest goal on record in 13 seconds. Herrera's first move was to buy the skillful Spaniard Luis Suarez from Barcelona for a then world record transfer fee. Suarez would become Inter's midfield dynamo. Giant attacking defender Giacinto Facchetti would be another vital cog in the Inter machine. Herrera's objective was to create a new playing style that would maximize talent and fitness. Moratti gave him the money, Herrera repaid him with the trophies.
Herrera ha portato delle novità nel calcio italiano. Il calcio italiano in quegli anni era un calcio povero di professionalità.
Era una svolta a questa squadra che, di essere una squadra importante però solamente in Italia, l'ha fatta diventare molto importante sia in Europa che nel mondo.
Inter feared no one, as they systematically and methodically destroyed the very best with their lethal style of counter-attack. After Herrera, Inter struggled until present national coach Giovanni Trapattoni arrived. In between, German superstar Rummenigge showed off his goal power, and local star of the 80s, Altobelli, displayed his flair for both club and country. Trapattoni's best buys, though, were the German trio of Matthäus, Bremer and Klinsmann. Lothar Matthäus played conductor and star, setting up goals, scoring goals and winning the Scudetto, proving beyond doubt why he deserved to be European Player of the Year in 1990. Jürgen Klinsmann's delight in scoring goals was almost as well known as the daredevil antics of volatile goalkeeper Walter Zenga, who remained an Inter stalwart for over a decade. Inter's most enduring symbol was arguably Giuseppe Bergomi, who played everywhere for the Nerazzurri. The arrival of Ronaldo heralded a huge sense of expectation, but injury has hampered Ronaldo badly, as well as his strike-force partner, Christian Vieri, despite maintaining a high scoring record. Sadly, the last trophy to grace the club cabinet was the UEFA Cup in 1998, which has created much frustration. Angelo Moratti's philosophy, to have the best, you must provide the best, is well reflected in the Inter training camp. Players' wealth today can clearly be reflected in their lifestyle. Huge salaries allow them to savor the trappings in the fast lane, and they are constantly idolized by fans eager to follow their every move. Whilst the Appiano Gentile training centre caters for the club's stars, Inter have also created a unique range of Inter youth camps in third world locations to try and find not only new talent early, but to offer these youngsters an opportunity in life they would otherwise be denied. The promise of a fit Ronaldo has Inter now hoping their glory days are about to return. Whilst Inter look to the future, Milan have been savouring their past. Recent centenary celebrations have seen the past reuniting with the present in grand style. Rivera's legacy still remains a spur to a long line of stars who've left their own individual mark at the club.
Milan per me è tutto. Quando purtroppo manca il campionato, manca tutto.
Il Milan è, come dicevo all'inizio, una fede che non può cambiare, a prescindere dal colore politico che uno porta nella sua vita di tutti i giorni.
Da qualsiasi parte del mondo lei va, sanno che cosa vuol dire Milan.
Per me il Milan è la vita.
Milan's origins have a strong British link. Their inspiration came from a talented but frustrated English player, Herbie Kilpin. In 1899, with 5 other eager compatriots, Kilpin settled on the name, the Milan Cricket and Football Club, and the symbolic colours, black to induce fear and red to invoke the devil. What Angelo Moratti and Helenio Herrera were to Inter, Andrea Rizzoli and coach Nerea Rocco were to Milan in the 1960s. Milan's success in the early 50s had primarily come through its powerful Swedish trio of Gren, Nordahl and Lidholm, known affectionately as Grenoli. Now it would thrive under the combined influence of Gianni Rivera and Il Paron, Nereo Rocco. Rivera was born to be a star in manner and appearance. After mesmerizing defences, he used such skills when becoming Italy's Minister of Defence. His duels with Mazzola, though, are still etched fondly in the minds and hearts of long-standing fans. The Rossoneri of Rivera's era are still spoken of with great respect, as the trophies they won sit alongside those that have since been added. 3 world trophies, 5 European Cups and 16 league titles now adorn a coveted display cabinet. The later awards were motivated principally by one man, club president Silvio Berlusconi, now also Italy's Prime Minister. From the brink of bankruptcy and scandal, Berlusconi bought the club in 1986 and completely revamped the club's modus operandi, turning it from also-rans into champions. Respected by many and goaded by others, Berlusconi's confidence and foresight, along with his considerable financial support, has been the key to the club's subsequent success.
Come importanza nell'innovazione della gestione di un club calcistico in Italia, Berlusconi è stato molto importante.
con la passione di Berlusconi che aveva fino da ragazzino per il Milan, ha completamente cambiato il Milan, portandolo a livelli stratosferici.
Il suo personaggio, il suo carisma l'ha trasmesso a tutti, ecco.
Whilst Berlusconi helped assemble the team, it was a Dutch trio of Rijkaard, Van Basten and Gullit who made it tick. Ruud Gullit was a consummate ball player. He was never happier than when dictating the game and scoring with either foot or head, which he did in devastating fashion, winning him the highest accolades. In the eyes of the pundits, there was no more graceful and natural striker than Marco Van Basten. What others found hard, he made easy. His deceptive pace and lethal finishing were often the difference between Milan winning or not. His tragic early retirement through injury was a major blow to the club. Frank Rijkaard was the unsung hero of the trio. A tireless worker with great finesse and all-round skills, he was the key to many an important Milan victory through his clinical finishing. Berlusconi's belief in the relatively unknown coach Arrigo Sacchi again paid dividends as Sacchi displayed a divine touch. The Dutch influence was never more effective than when winning the European Cups in 1989 and 1990, where they emphatically put their stamp on the end result. First it was the Turk Gullit and then Van Basten. It was an era in which Milan could do no wrong.
Noi vogliamo essere qualcosa di più di un club di calcio, noi vogliamo essere un'azienda di intrattenimento.
And that's exactly what they are. Milan's deliberate high-voltage celebrity approach has made stars out of personalities, on and off the field, and exploited their multi-talented values. Style and image are everything, as long, of course, as the results match up. Packaging success is all important. Berlusconi's maxim is that everyone should be involved, from the president down. Milan is seen not just as a club, but as a family member to all its fans. Close to the Swiss-Italian Alps lies the Milanello, the club's state-of-the-art training center. Here, players can enjoy the luxury of facilities that would do royalty proud. A fortune has been spent to ensure the players' comfort and security. There's even a permanently reserved suite for the president. High-tech surveillance is used to monitor the grounds and keep prying eyes away. But it still doesn't stop the more resourceful fans eager to grab a memento no matter what the restriction. The days when training was a casual affair are long gone. Inter's old Il Mago, Elenio Herrera, proved that. In an atmosphere of high finance and intense individual rivalry, specialists are everywhere, monitoring performance and putting players through carefully organized schedules to determine their fitness. Competition is at every level. Survival long-term depends on every player living up to his cost, reputation and commitment. A major feature of Milan's vision is the manner in which it markets itself. Every aspect of Milan's past, present and future is analyzed and screened 12 hours a day, every day. For the totally committed fan, it is essential viewing.
Il Milan è una delle squadre più importanti, più famose nel mondo e evidentemente è stata la prima a recepire questa iniziativa editoriale di realizzare un canale totalmente dedicato alla squadra.
Probabilmente la differenza principale che c'è oggi tra il Milan e l'Inter è che il Milan è condotto veramente come un'azienda, mentre l'Inter è ancora gestito come una squadra di calcio.
Una volta capito che il calcio è diventato un affare, Bisogna ragionare in termini di mercato e non più in termini sportivi.
Merchandising in Italy is big business. The bigger the star, the greater the return. Everything has a price that can bear a logo, image or club motif. Players are cloned with mascots who become equally sought after, as team colours carry their own social as well as financial value. Old symbols get recycled and team strips abound in a range of new colours. Even Barbie has found a competitive niche amongst the club's spin-offs. Whilst time is all important, legends are never forgotten as new faces come to the fore. For the sponsors, the greater the star, the more dramatic the profile. And for every new contracted star, another product line emerges.
We do products for champions, so what we want to develop is the best product for our players.
Quello che è diventato importantissimo è la creazione con un giocatore, ad esempio Ronaldo o Del Piero, di tutta una serie di iniziative pubblicitarie e commerciali su quel giocatore.
È il denaro che sceglie, non sono tanto le idee degli uomini.
Io sono arrabbiato con mia mamma perché mi ha fatto nascere troppo presto.
Spiraling transfer fees have placed the focus firmly on agents who continue to squeeze the financial boundaries that clubs can ill afford. Superstar Ronaldo has frequently come under the critical spotlight, but when he's firing, there's none better in front of goal.
Non siamo noi a decidere quali sono i limiti del mercato, è una responsabilità che devono prendersi le società che troppo spesso usano gli agenti e i giocatori per mascherare i loro errori e questo non è giusto.
For truly committed fans, the derby represents 2 days of the year when they can fully express their support to the extreme. Traditionally, they are seen as the 12th man in the team, whose constant encouragement is often the key to victory. It takes desperate measures to silence them. And even that is no guarantee.
Non esiste un derby senza la partecipazione dei tifosi.
Come il nostro sangue e le nostre vene, che sono nere di fuori e rosse di dentro.
Per certi tifosi è quasi più importante vincere il derby che non vincere il campionato.
Anche se perdo il campionato, ma basta vincere il derby.
Moltissimi anni fa il Milan retrocesse in Serie B e in questo stadio con una squadra di seconda categoria faceva 40, 50, 60 mila persone. Cioè questo vuol dire amare i propri colori, amare la propria squadra.
Per noi come società e soprattutto per i giocatori il sostegno dei ragazzi della curva è fondamentale.
Preparation for the derby can take weeks of group discussion and complex choreography to create the striking symbols unveiled at the ground.
Avevamo fatto la storia di Milano dagli anni del Medioevo, tutta raffigurata con questi striscioni e come domenica scorsa abbiamo fatto questa astronave che va sulla Luna, che rappresenta che il Milan ormai può conquistare solo la Luna, ha conquistato tutto.
Both clubs have many cells that organize their own strategies and liaise with others to formulate a united front. Inter's RHO fan club view every derby with the same air of confidence that victory is a mere formality.
Siamo a -2, domenica sera, sorpasso, sorpasso, 2-0 per noi, 2-0 per noi.
Milan's Brigate Rossoneri are its strongest and most vocal supporters. Through its leader, Giancarlo Capelli, they have strong connections within the club where can coordinate their activities in the most effective and demonstrable way.
Sono 35 anni che frequento la curva del Milan, allora per quello c'è questa rispettabilità, e anche perché io seguo il Milan ovunque, dappertutto, in Italia, in Europa e nel mondo.
Italian media focus on football, and especially the derby, is greater than anywhere else in the world. Nothing stirs the passions more than the nation's beloved culture, where headlines are designed to shock and provoke the most emotive response. Armchair analysis is relentless as a host of specialist television shows and rival newspapers kickstart the drama daily, long before the conflict truly begins.
La stampa oramai fa parte del calcio, magari a volte vorresti un tipo di informazione meno strillata e più equilibrata, però fa parte del gioco, è così nel calcio, è così nello spettacolo, è così sempre.
Alla domenica pomeriggio inizia tra le televisioni, i giornali, l'apertura per la prossima partita, cioè dura 7 giorni continuamente.
Resti il calcio in Italia è una guerra. Che poi questo sia sbagliato è un altro discorso, però in Italia il calcio è una guerra.
Disagreement is an Italian tradition in football. Many regard it as a God-given right. For the media, sex and football are the perfect recipe to boost ratings and increase circulation. TV Lombardy might be a small station, but what it lacks in size, it certainly makes up for in heated debate. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody else wants to disprove it, no matter what. Fans, and would-be if they could be experts, argue on the faintest hint of gossip, hoping to find something that will affect the outcome of the game. Presenter Maurizio Mosca might infuriate the viewer, but he knows the power of playing devil's advocate in public. Whilst Mosca mirrors the extreme, La Gazzetta dello Sport represents media royalty. Almost a century old, it's long been accepted as the most authoritative and objective mouthpiece for Italian football.
Una delle tradizioni italiane la mattina sono la brioche, il cappuccino e la Gazzetta dello Sport, in quest'ordine, cioè o in ordine inverso. Diciamo che nel corso degli anni la Gazzetta dello Sport è diventato il punto di riferimento degli sportivi.
Match day starts early as expectations rise with the sun. Ticket touts are out in numbers, hoping to make a killing with a game that everyone in Milan wants to see. Police convoys arrive in readiness to quell any trouble. The record attendance is over 100,000, but since the last renovation for the 1990 World Cup, it's been pegged to 80,000. Police numbers are out in force, some to keep the peace, some secretly hoping they'll get a look at the game. And elsewhere, some fans will try any way they can to get inside.
Se vinci in Milan, lavoriamo un po' di più. Dobbiamo lottare contro la loro fortuna, come in tutti i derby.
The hardest jobs traditionally during the match rest with opposing, highly strung managers and the much maligned referee. Decisions are made that affect everyone and bring out the very worst in some, leading to the inevitable result. And who got it right and who got it wrong is never quite that simple. Where a silly mistake can lead not only to loss of points, but loss of face and ultimately loss of job. Before the players take center stage, the stadium belongs to the fans, who now play their own game, taunting and provoking each other with songs and other tactics that traditionally goad and offend the opposition. Rival heads of state prepare themselves like everyone else, well aware of what victory and defeat means to both of them. As the teams emerge, the fans now show their allegiance in their most inspiring way. Each tries to outdo the other in image and scale. It's also a moment to show the family bonding between players and children. Whilst managers steel themselves along with the crowd and players, some reveal a last-minute light-heartedness to lift the tension of the match ahead. but it's only a momentary diversion. Straight from the kick-off, the battle begins and the lines are drawn. This is the most testing period and revenge is quickly meted out. Neither side is allowed to settle on the ball, much to the anger of fans from both sides, whose vision is invariably one-sided. Boban is a Milan veteran and thrives on the tense atmosphere. He's also, with his skills, a prime target. The Uruguayan Recoba weaves his way through and is unlucky to see his shot deflected and then become the center of Milan abuse as oranges rain down upon him. Constant pressure by Inter sees Zanetti's shot go just wide, leaving Zaccheroni seething over Milan's slack market. A strong run by Serginho looks promising, but he loses control. Inter pressurise Milan with some good attacking, free-flowing football. A bad mistake by goalkeeper Abbiati gives Inter a break. Recoba links with Zamorano, who gladly takes the opportunity, much to the dismay of Milan fans, but delight of Inter. Zamorano is ecstatic. Zaccheroni is livid. As the replay shows, Recoba easily beat the offside trap to set up Zamorano. Into the second half, and Zamorano's point-blank volley is blocked by Abbiati. Seedorf sets up Recoba, whose volley cannons off the post. Whilst Lippi remains calm, Zaccheroni is beside himself. Cagliari blatantly fouls Boban again. Tempers flare as Boban takes revenge, much to the anger of the Inter players this time. Whilst Boban gets sympathy, Cagliari reveals he's more an actor than a victim. Milan fans dislike the deceit, but sense this is not their day, as Seedorf sets up Di Biagio, who scores with a great volley. Inter fans are overjoyed, Milan silent in disbelief. Zaccheroni resigned to defeat. The striker by Di Biagio was a goal worthy of winning any match. Di Biagio savours the moment, whilst Lippi reveals nothing. Zanetti pushes for a third, only to be denied by some desperate tackling. Boban's long-range lob is just wide, much to his disbelief and the Milan executive. With time fast running out, Milan win a last-gasp penalty. All eyes are on Shevchenko, who slots it home with ease. But Zaccheroni knows it is too little, too late. Gattuso's eagerness is not enough to stop the final whistle. An elated Zanetti shows his appreciation for the role the fans have played, whilst upset Milan players can only reflect on what might have been. Everybody loves a winner, but there are no guarantees in football. We can only judge on what was. The legacy of Mazzola and Rivera in their prime symbolized perfectly why the derby generated such emotion. But what would happen if there was no outlet for this release?
Ma io penso che sarebbe un disastro per l'economia familiare e politica.
Milano senza calcio non c'è, non è più Milano.
In Italia, pensare a un'Italia senza calcio è molto difficile.
Se non ci fosse il calcio, bisognerebbe inventarlo.
Which for Italians would be like reinventing the wheel. Nothing could capture their hearts in such a dramatic way. Where the spectacle of the derby creates its own fantasy for fans everywhere.